Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Ooyukiumi no Kaina, Kaina of the Great Snow Sea. Yeah, I think I got it. I think I got it in the first take. Right, Ooyukiumi no Kaina. What happened so far? Well, in the previous episode, Princess... I forgot her name again. Damn. The princess arrived. Finally, I mean, she arrived at the end of the first episode, but now she was taken into the village. She was shown around the village, which was cool because we got a little bit of a taste, a little bit of an explanation of how those people are functioning, how are they living. Their pantry with all those bugs and grub soup and all that kind of jazz. We learned about that. We learned about the great calamity that is quickly approaching. Yeah, it is actually quickly approaching. Water drying out. I say quickly because it's not something that happened in the span of hundreds of years. Because Kaina himself remembers that, hey, there used to be more water, right? And the elders remember all those villages being everywhere around them. That's another important thing, right? So it happened in the span of like a couple of decades tops. And that's interesting. That's interesting because something must have caused it, right? There had to be a cause for that to happen. And interestingly, the same thing happens down below, on top of the Great Snow Sea. They are also having a water shortage, which seems interesting because Great Snow Sea, right? Snow is water, sea is water. So how can they have a shortage of it? Well, the theory is mine and a couple of people also seem to have a similar theory from what I read. Haven't read anything in advance, don't worry about that, only discussion up to this point of some other people. And it seems to align with my theory that the snow isn't actually snow. The snow is just pollen, or it's spores, or something like that. Something that isn't made of water. Which would explain why, when those seal dolphin creatures were going through the snow, and it seemed like they were going through a ball pit full of cotton balls. It was super fluffy, it was bowl-shaped, and it was super light, flying off everywhere. Didn't look like snow. People, myself included, dismissed it as simply bad CG because we are kinda used to that by now. But as it turns out, it might have been done on purpose to sow that seed of doubt. Is it actually snow or is it not? From what we've seen, the snow falling from above the clouds, that's another dead giveaway. It's probably not snow at all. Underneath it, though, it seems there's a layer of water or some sort of a liquid. And I say seems to be because we got some shots from underneath the layer of snow, but it might have just been an artistic liberty they took because they couldn't just place a camera underneath because it would be obstructed by snow and you wouldn't see shit. So they just kind of removed it to show the person struggling to swim up, or all those cotton balls, spores or whatever, could be actually a layer floating on some sort of a liquid. Can't be water, because water, even if heavily salinated, you can make to be drinkable one way or another. It might take a lot of time, a lot of energy, but you can make it drinkable. So, has to be something else. Liquid methane, that requires even lower temperatures. Although it is actually, I'm gonna look it up. At what temperature does methane become liquid? Liquid methane. temperature. Negative 161.6 degrees Celsius. Yeah, it ain't liquid methane. It has to be something else. Maybe, I don't know, glycerin or something, some coolant, some magic liquid, whatever. At the same time, it is cold down there and up there as well. So temperature change had to be caused by something. I don't know. I mean, probably the membrane of the tree is shielding Earth from like UV radiation and the high energy radiation, shielding it from heating up. Then again, Kaina did wear a suit when going up above. Although it is cold in space, if it's vacuum or close to vacuum, sure, he would have. The temperature would be low. Some interesting things are going on. And of course, the evil empire, seemingly evil empire, that we also got to hear a little bit about. How they started invading their neighbors in search for water, stealing water from them. And they use some rusted real-world ships, which is very interesting because it seals the deal that it is indeed a post-apocalyptic world. And they have a big-ass fortress. I do wonder, is that fortress floating? Is that fortress so high, so tall, that it sticks up above the water surface? Or liquid surface, sea surface, I guess sea level, and they inhabit just the piece that sticks above it? Or someone also threw around that theory, it might be one of the trees that was cut down and they're living on a stump. How would that have happened though? How would you cut down the tree this massive? Or maybe it just fell on its own, rotted, and they used that opportunity to build a large city. Instead of just huddling around the trees, they were able to take up an entire stump. We also learned in this episode, or in the previous one, that giant insects were a thing before whatever happened, back when humanity was still making signs. Oh boy. Oh boy. I've absolutely no clue where it's headed, but it's headed in a good direction. It could be either that the trees were an attempt at terraforming Earth, because something happened to the atmosphere, to the climate, and this was the attempt. Humans mastered bioengineering, but why did humans seemingly die out? That's a question. There was also a theory, someone also posted somewhere, that the trees themselves might be parasitic and sucking out water from the earth, but planet parasites? I guess it's a cool idea, but I don't know. I wonder. I really do wonder what are they doing and what's gonna happen and what are the answers, what the answers are going to be. Oh boy. No series got me this engaged in the world building. No, I genuinely don't think any series that I've watched so far, be it on the channel or on my own, got me this invested in its world building. This is like masterfully done. Legit masterfully done. But yeah, I've been gushing about it for almost 10 minutes, so I think we should just start watching episode 3 instead, right? Sip of a tea. And yeah, I think we can start watching it. And to do that, you will of course need your subs. Why are you running? I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. I need to untangle the cable. And I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support. Monetary on Patreon, Throne, links in the description below, or completely non-monetary, completely free, share my content, spread the word, costs you nothing, helps a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching Ooyukiumi no Kaina, episode 3, in 3, 2, 1, Go. Clappy music again. Very adventure-y music. Right, and Kaina got this laser cutter. That's important. Because it also tells us a little bit about the level of technology in the world. It had to have been super advanced civilization if they had handheld laser cutters. Liliha, that's her name. Of course she's not Daijobu. How could she be after falling like that? Okay, how are they reusing the rope? That's also a question. How can they free it from that hook up above? They will upset them. Oh shit, that's a lot of time. I expected maybe like a week or so, a month, to scale down a tree. That's a surprisingly large amount of time. I mean, okay, granted, those trees reach up way into the fucking stratosphere. So, I guess it's reasonable. Yeah, they're big. They're really fucking big. It's very windy outside. I have headphones on and I can hear the wind. There's the sage. Yeah, Liliha came looking for him. And yeah, that boy bounced a bit of snow on his hand. So probably not snow at all after all. There's the green mushroom thing. Guiding spirit kinda creature. There's this, which looks like a big ass robot. Left here by the previous civilization, probably? I don't know. Who are you looking for? Oh, for Liliha and her entourage. Oh, so the Empire is probably cutting down trees and building bases on top of them? Or was the tree dead enough to just crumble and fall on itself? Hmm. Right, all of the elders up above just stayed behind. Kaina didn't care particularly much about it, which was kind of weird. Cue her falling, exactly. Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Meanwhile in Atland. Okay, those are the Valarian ships. I love the effect on her voice. I'm glad we get to see a little bit of the Empire. That was some great facial animation. That's a great armor she has. Yeah. It's getting dark. Yummy, yummy bugs. uh, don't eat unknown bugs, they told you. From 30 down to 3, that's... Unless maybe they were... We just did a little bit of a time skip. Possibly. Snowfoil. Okay. What does it do, though? What is it? Snowfoil. First thing that comes to mind is those, like, silver and gold foil pieces that you cover, like, crash victims with. Okay, I guess that sweetened his departure a little bit more. Well, shit. Not much of a conversation to be had. And died in the process. Yep. Also dead? No. Okay. Good. At least one of them has at least one parent. Okay. Only half an orphan. An orphan and a half. Jesus Christ, is it a hurricane? Hmm. Every myth has a grain of truth in it. So what's the deal with the sage? That's some danger. Yeah, that would be my concern as well. That's also a good question. Oh, okay, so we are addressing the glowing mushroom. So it is some sort of a guiding spirit. Interesting. Okay. A beach. That's great. I love it. Is the glowing mushroom like her mother's spirit or something? Okay. I guess something you don't always see because of the clouds. And have you seen it before? Okay, that was the first time, I guess. Yeah, I wonder as well. Doesn't look humanoid to be a spirit. Oh, is that some device? Bet. I bet that is the case. Those are relics of a past civilization. What is the necklace, though? Some sort of a fancy GPS that uses a mushroom instead of voice or something? Oh, stereo? No, mercy kill it. Is that what we're doing? It is what we're doing. Purge. Toa. We bionicle now. Okay, what's the deal with Purge? And it's sinking, I'm assuming. I need to take a shit. Yeah. She didn't ask him to cover his ears. Oh, yeah, yeah, don't do that. Do not do that. Jesus. Oh, what's that? A cave of some sort. A nest of the bugs? Okay, descending through the caves. What's a guarantee you'll be able to get out once you reach the bottom? Dinner. Yeah, not really any other animals. It's all bugs. I mean, yeah, if the planet dies, the humans and the bugs die with it. He'll what? Okay. As a side note, I really do like Kaina's voice actor. He's doing a great job and an amazing fit for the character. Okay, the Valarians see them descending. Great ring? The fuck is a great ring? Okay, so they don't want to kill Liliha, they want to capture her. Unzip it. Or take it off, sure. Okay, you can actually see the ground. And the roots flaring out. Okay, we're close to the bottom. Only a day or so would be my guess. Are they gonna be immediately captured by the Valarians? Probably, yeah. Valgia, not Valaria, Valgia. My bad. Valgians. How did they make it up here? Reinforcements. It's the princess. Dolphins versus acorn guns. I guess it makes sense. They don't really have steel or iron or anything to make bullets. They can make black powder, though. Yeah, you should probably wear some armor. Valgians have the good idea. I mean, at least some, like, wooden things, right? Yeah, they aren't the type to talk. They're going to jump down and use the... Okay, jump down on the floater. Makes sense. It's more solid than I thought. Valgians have bows and arrows, though. They don't seem to be shooting. Okay, how do you use the snowfoil? Or does it just work? As long as you have it on you, you just float. You don't need to, like, lay it down or anything. I guess we won't know. I guess we need to wait for the next episode. Every single episode introduces so much new shit. Oh boy. Every single episode is something new. Chris Han. I misread it as Chris Chan. Thankfully, I was wrong. Yeah, what's the deal with Valgians? That's what I want to know. They don't seem to be, like, evil for the sake of being evil. Otherwise, we wouldn't be given any time spent with them. Boy, oh boy. What an episode. But I guess the same can be said about every episode of this show, can't it? What can be said right now, though, is that we're gonna watch it again. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Clappy music. I love clappy music. I love claps in music. I love the opening of... what was it called? The one... Amaburi, Amagi Brilliant Park. It had that one, like, moment in it, and it was great. It was the highlight of every opening, the highlight of every episode, honestly. Okay, so they are using some kind of a double rope thing to be able to free them, I guess. Yeah, it is a double rope. Okay, makes sense. I was wondering how are they freeing that rope, but it seems like it's some sort of a special knot that you can untangle by manipulating one of the ropes or both of them or something. Okay, makes sense. Descending, descending, descending. And it's apparently gonna take them 30 days. This time around, this, though, is just a very simple knot. You're not gonna free this one. There is some inconsistency to how they're using the rope, I guess. Pupas for giant tree flies. I love how he takes the other tree as a measurement and does like, okay, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. It's great. It's great. I love it. I love how, like, internally consistent this world seems to be. Everything revolves around this world being post-apocalyptic, around the snow sea, and around the trees. The orbital trees. you don't have some random moments where you wonder how do they know that? How do they figure it out? They don't have that in their world, right? Measurement system. I mean, I'm assuming they're using some sort of a somewhat standardized measurement system, or just lengths of rope, as we saw when one of the grandmas was measuring Liliha. But that there is some way to estimate how long it will take you to climb a tree by like doing some, you know, simple gesture measurements. That's great. Yeah, I'm assuming we're gonna get. We did get through some sort of a time skip. This device appears again, and its appearance in the opening kind of connects Liliha and her mother with the sage, and the sage is connected with the signs, and the signs are connected with the bugs. Am I looking too much into it? I don't think I am, because the signs do talk about big insect territory, keep out. So there is a connection there, in one way or another. Liliha, who was able to establish contact with the guiding spirit and find that necklace, was connected to her mother's death. Although that would be kind of pushing it, I think. Not pushing it. That's the wrong term to use to use here. Jesus Christ! Hurricane in Poland? That'd be a first. Huh. What is that necklace? That's what I want to know. Her armor seems to be made of steel, and their ships are more or less made of steel. So I'm assuming that's kind of a like symbol of status that you can afford and you are allowed to use steel for personal protection. I'm assuming the other guys are using perhaps chitin, however you pronounce it. The thing that the bug shells are made of, because bugs are so commonplace, and their helmets are probably just hollowed out heads of bugs. They look like that. And this, I think it's a stump. I think it's a stump. Hmm. Valgian, not Valarian, Valgian. Why did I jump to Valaria and Valarians? Are Valarians like an actual thing in some fantasy world? I think it might be. They might be. Valaria, Valarians. Ah. Valgian soldiers. Okay, the laser cutter still works. Yeah, something's going on with the trees though. Show it to me. Yeah. What the fuck happened to this tree? For it to just fall down randomly like that? Is it simply so dead that it can no longer support itself? Like the one Kaina and Liliha are traveling through. It's empty inside, it's dead, it doesn't carry any water or nutrients up above. So it eventually just rotted and dried out and it fell down? Possibly. But the implications for it happening, it's like on a planetary scale. And it had to have like dragged a lot of the membrane down with it. So what are gonna be the consequences of that? I'm assuming it's not the first time a tree fell down either, because nobody seems like super shocked about it. Like, sure, they are shocked that it happened, but they aren't shocked that it happened, like, at all. If the membrane has some important function, then the tree going down and dragging it with it would cause a great hole in the protective surface of the planet. And what could that cause? Well, that depends on what's the function of the membrane in the first place. Is it keeping something in, or is it keeping something out? Will it cause ground there to be bombarded with space radiation? Will it cause oxygen and air to leak out? I don't know. I wonder if they address it. Some great sound design, by the way. You can feel that it's something like super big going on. And it is super big. As I said, on a planetary scale. It's a tree so far beyond, so far from them, and yet it causes this tree to start crumbling. Because as it goes, it drags the branches, the membrane, and it shakes all the neighboring trees, and it ripples throughout this artificial ozonosphere of the planet. I'm glad that he's worried about the village, for sure, because his departure was very cold, I guess. Well, not cold, there was a lot of warmth in his departure, in saying goodbyes. But it was kind of like, oh, I can never go back here. Well, cool, I'm just gonna bring Liliha down. I'll never see you guys again. See ya, peace, I'm going with my girl. That didn't feel particularly good. I'm glad that he addresses it a little. He's worried about the village, about its continued existence. Make sure she gets home safe and sound. I guess that's what motivates him, that's what drives him. He promised to get her down safe and sound, so he's gonna do it. Some fluffy comedic moments. Their ships. Are they made of metal or are they made of wood? Could it be that they are made of orbital tree? They have an edge, they have an advantage over other nations because they found a stump and they settled on that stump, and they can essentially mine for resources, mine it for wood, mine it for sap, maybe, mine it for, I don't know, have a lot of space, enough space to perhaps have some, I don't know, bug ranches and get that kit in for armor. That could be it. That could be something. I could be onto something. I'm glad we're spending some time with them, because it tells me they aren't just villains for the sake of being villains. If they were just disposable villains, we wouldn't be spending time with them. And there are some steel bits on the outside. There is some steel armor. Nice joinery on this bit at the front of the ship. Either way, it seems Atlant really does believe in the canopy. Some great facial animations on this guy. She has a spike on the back of her head. Yeah, this is very, Disney, very Pixar kind of facial expression and animation. That's what I wanted to see. A close-up of her armor. It's riveted, so metal. Very, like, articulate. A lot of articulation in the left arm. The right arm looks very interesting. It's very different from the left arm. A lot of weird greebles. It's as if it was parts of something else that were stripped down and shaped into armor. There are like pipes and things. Interesting. And the hand armor, palm armor is very standard fare. Just a whatchamacallit? Just a leather glove with some bits of metal bolted onto it. Okay, interesting. Good to know that there are some perches like that they can use to rest a little. It looked like a caddisfly, so I figured it was edible. So there are some bugs that they don't know of. We're getting the hang of it, so we can get there in 3 days, from 30 to 3. So either she got really good at it real quick, or we went through a little bit of a time skip. Yeah, what the fuck is this thing? Snowfoil bag. What the hell is a snowfoil bag? And how can a bit of a bag prevent them from sinking? Is it like a... whatchamacallit? Is it like... I paused the recording by accident. Okay, getting back to it. Snowfoil bag. Snowfoil, I don't know, it's whatever, some sort of a material bag. Maybe it's like this life jacket kind of deal, where it self-inflates, and that's what allows them to not sink. Without this, you'll sink if you fall into the snow sea. That also gives us a detail. Whatever that liquid is, humans cannot float in it. So it can't be water. You can float on water. It can't be heavily salinated, because that makes you even more buoyant. So what could it be? Let me do a quick Google. Liquid human can not liquid human cannot float on. Anything that has significantly lower density than water. Okay, density of human body is around 945 kilograms per meter cubed. So... let's see. Liquid density chart. And I'm also gonna note down the fact that humans cannot float in the sea, because that seems very important. And dead. Humans cannot float on the sea. Okay, let's take a look at the chart. The fuck is that? Liquids. That's, yeah, kilograms per meter cubed. We're looking at for something lower than 945. So it could be liquid methanol, could be liquid heptane, liquid octane, Fuel? It's mostly just like alcohols. Liquid phenol, acetone. Could be acetone. Acetone is liquid at room temperature. Pentane, ethanol. Could be ethanol. Benzene, toluene. Not glycerin, for sure. Butanol, pentanol, methylpropanol, heptanol, propanol, hexanol. Pretty much all of alcohols. Let's see. What else maybe? Could be gasoline. Could be... What else? What I'm seeing is mostly alcohols and stuff. There's another chart. Don't know how to read it though. Liquids, densities, the engineering toolbox. That seems interesting. Yeah. Sort by density, please. Methane, propane, propylene, ethane, butane, pentane, petroleum ether. Naphtha. It could be naphtha. Gasoline, yeah. Ether. Disopropyl ether. Gasoline, petrol. Isopropyl alcohol. Crude oil, although crude oil isn't translucent. Methanol, alcohol, yeah, I'm just alcohols in general, it seems. Propanol, hexanol, formaldehyde, diesel fuel, naphthalene, kerosene. Although with those you'd think a single spark and the entire world burns. So it probably isn't an alcohol. Palmitic acid, probably not. Shea butter, okay. Turpentine, probably not. Chinese vegetable tallow, apparently. Stearic acid, sorbaldehyde, linoleic acid. Could be linoleic acid. And yeah, oils are above the density of water. That was a lot of time spent on trying to figure out what the ocean is made of, the Great Snow Sea. What I'm getting is it's probably some sort of an alcohol, but why didn't it go into flames yet? That's a question. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, was it really alright for you to leave the village with me? That's a good question. We know that the elders of the village wanted him to go because they didn't want him to be all alone in the canopy. And since Liliha isn't staying, so after the elders die, he won't make a living on the canopy with Liliha, might as well just send him down. And the elders will live their days, or they will live until starvation, or they will try to procure some food, or they will just commit mass go commit and live. That's also a possibility. But what matters the most is that Kaina will have company. I was always watching from my window. Yeah, I guess that sweetens the deal. As I said, because he gets to fulfill his wishes, fulfill his dreams. He always wanted to visit, he always wanted to go down there. So, sure, there's the downside of having to leave your family behind, but there's at least one more upside besides just being able to help Liliha. And he's an orphan. A nutrient shortage was an issue already when Kaina was being born. That's also an important bit of information. Father is very strict because he's the king, makes sense. And her mother passed out. So we have an orphan and a half-orphan. I guess orphans would be a common thing on essentially a deaf world. So I'm not gonna, complain about it too much. Usually it's a big trope in anime that the main character is an orphan. We can't have them have parents, or half orphan at least. In this case, it actually makes a bit of sense. Story about the sage. Yeah. As the world was born, the wise sage descended. Where his staff pierced the land, the water did flow. From his staff, then the orbital spire trees ascended. But to war with each other did 3 people go. The sage fled to the forest in sorrowed sequestration. From then on, the snow sea would engulf all creation. Every legend, every myth, every story has a nugget of truth in it. Even like actual myths. People like worshipping thunder was because they didn't understand thunder. But some of the myths about thunder actually make sense. Some of the myths about how sun and moon work. In plenty of cultures around the world, there's the myth of the moon and the sun chasing each other around, be it in some chariots or some sort of a cycle of death and rebirth or something like that. Because they observed the phenomenon of sun going up and going down, and then moon going up and going down. So there is some nugget of truth to all those myths, all those legends. So there has to be a nugget of truth to this one as well. Sage descended as the world began, probably not true. He probably already was a person, and even before the world began. Or rather, when the world began, in this context being the beginning of this era, the era of orbital trees. When he stabbed the ground with his staff, water sprouted. I don't know. Could be some sort of a device that... Oh, actually... Could the big ass fucking robot from the opening be the sage? That would explain a lot. A robot from the OP is the mythical sage. That would make sense if that robot had a big ass fucking staff and was able to stab the ground or perhaps drill into it, into the water carrying layer, and the water would spring from there. Yeah. Staff equals drilling for water. Spring creating the orbital trees. Could that robot or others like it be the ones to not create those trees, but somehow sow them or plant them or something? Robots like it planted trees. That could actually explain a lot. And then the war happened because, of course, we're humans. War is inhuman in nature. And the sage retreated to the forest. Forest canopy, apparently not. Maybe forest underneath. Maybe there's plenty of like roots and stuff going around. Could it be some sunken civilization? And that's where the sage retreated. Forest is under the sea. Is under the sea. And that's where the robot retreated. Of course, going all blushy. Light told me. I'm glad we're addressing it. Kind of a bummer we're addressing it this late, but sure. I guess Liliha thought that it's only her who can see it, so she didn't bother mention it. Because why would Kaina believe her, right? And Kaina can see it anyway. Kaina thought that, hey, Liliha can see it, so why should I mention it? I guess it makes sense. But it turns out both of them can see it. So both of them are somehow special. Descendant of surface people and descendant of canopy people. I might be a little... my perception might be a little skewed here. Because I actually had an idea for a book or a novel or something. It didn't get much beyond just a bit of world building. But the world, the idea was essentially there was a world filled with magic, standard classic fantasy world, but people decided that they want to condense that magic, right? They aren't fine with just having the amount of magic they have. They'd rather have some, I don't know, magic potion they can just gulp down and have stronger magic. So they were thinking how to extract it. And they started extracting magic from ley lines on a smaller scale. And later, as the civilization grew, got more industrial, they figured spires, literally spires that reach way up into the sky, whose task is extracting magic from the ley lines. And that caused half of the world to be completely devoid of magic, half of the world to be overfilled with it because the spires were destroyed or something. So I guess it's parallel to those trees. That's why it instantly reminded me of this idea. And I also had an idea of spire raiders, kinda, where people who go into the spires from like next civilization that came after the previous one was destroyed, and they're raiding those spires for artifacts and stuff that were warped with the flow of magic. And the key to opening them was someone who was of the bloodline of the architects who built those spires in the past, because they were like locked with gene DNA based lock or something like that. And that was the idea, and I'm instantly reminded of it. And my mind instantly goes in the direction where Kaina and Liliha are somehow descendants of the previous civilization, or some bloodline in the previous civilization. Kaina and Liliha. Kaina's and Liliha's blood lines have something to do with trees. Perhaps descendants of whoever created those trees. Perhaps something else like that. That's why they can see the spirit. That's why they see the spirit. Okay, let's continue. I love this. I wandered alone on a beach. Nobody sane would call it a bitch. Bitch. A beach. That I think that's the better like pronunciation of it, because bitch is a bitch and female dog, and beach softer pronunciation, right? Bitch versus beach. Okay. Nobody in our world right now would call it a beach. It doesn't look like a beach. It's a bunch of cliffs with some, I don't know, what's it called? what's it called, that grows on like ship hulls? Fuck. Animal grows on ship hulls. Barnacles. Barnacles. It's cliffs with some barnacles. Nobody would call it a beach. But this is the beach for them. They don't know the sand of a beach. They don't know the stones of a beach. They know tree roots overgrown with barnacles. That's their beach. I love it. And the meaning of the beach got kind of devolved with time and evolved with time to mean a place where the ocean meets the land. So this is their beach. It doesn't feel our definition of it with sand and or stones and stuff like that, because there aren't any sands, there aren't any stones, but the word remained and the meaning just evolved. The world building in this series, I swear, it's so great. And she found that spirit for some reason, and it showed her the light of the canopy. It is a pretty sight. Pretty sight. Like, let's be honest, it is a very pretty sight. And she was found, and that's... and the first time Kaina saw it was... I guess it has to be like a really has protective spirit kind of a deal. It helped the search party find her in some way. It helped Kaina help her. It helped both of them not die later on when they were attacked by the bug. Something that resides within this necklace. Possibly. Spirit resides in the necklace. Necklace is a device. It has a very futuristic look. Sans the beads, but it does look like something, some sort of a key. Perhaps. Necklace is a key in parentheses to the SageBot. Huh? What if the robots, the SageBots, weren't actually autonomous? They were just machines for people to use and utilize and help in sowing the trees and help in finding water. What would be the spirit then? I've no clue. Maybe this thing and the tool Signkeeper gave us are relics from the ancient times when the sage lived. Yeah, probably. If that's the case, then maybe the sage is no longer around. Probably. I mean, unless the sage is actually a robot, then it's probably still out and about. Perhaps drowned somewhere below the surface? It is in the forest, at the bottom of the sea. Sage bot is there, added to forest is under the sea. One of those creatures was killed. It's a bummer that we didn't hear a proper name for it, just Jarges Steed. I'm curious what those things are called, because they look kind of like seals, kind of like dolphins, kind of like nothing whatsoever. Must have been swimming around looking for the master. Do we bring it or do we mercy kill it? We mercy kill it, apparently. And then we scream purge. What? The spirit is released. Return to Toa, our sweet heaven. So Toa is a place, their equivalent of heaven, in whatever religion they follow. What does purge mean? Purge has a very negative connotations. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this moment, this scene made me think, are we the baddies? Are those the baddies? And the Valarian, not Valarian. I know it's not Valarian. It has a G somewhere in it, the name. But those people are the good guys somehow. I'm gonna note down the names at the top of my notebook. Liliha, so that I don't forget this one and the name of that enemy faction. And yeah, and this thing is sinking. Nothing significant can be seen here besides the roots of those trees. It does look like a forest, doesn't it? It does look like a forest. Okay, we are around here. 14 minutes in. I want to take a look at the opening and the robot in the opening. Yeah, I'm gonna do this maybe, so that YouTube doesn't freak out if I watch the whole thing, whole opening. Okay. Where's the robot? Show me the robot. Show me the robot. Barnacles. And the beach reaching out into the sky. That's some beautiful clouds, by the way, in the opening. In general, some beautiful vistas and landscapes in this series. There's the necklace, there's the sage, bugs, signkeeper, fire, war, stumps, stumps, stumps. We see stumps. Stumps are significant somehow. This is the underwater. This is the underwater. The roots of those trees. Elders, the general lady. Okay. Running through the snow, rappelling down, rest on the perch, running from enemies, floating up in what seems to be the underwater part of the tree, because it was very purple and very pinkish purple, and lots of barnacles. There are no barnacles up above, and the up above is all blue and purple and green. Down below is pink and red and orange, and there are barnacles, so they are floating up from underwater. Here's the robot. That's the Sagebot. I'm 100% sure it's the Sagebot. But I thought we're gonna see it be in the underwater forest. No, it seems to be a tree stump behind him. Vagrians. Is that the name of the enemies? I don't know. The V people, is that their fortress in the background? And did they build a robot? I don't know, man. I don't know what to think anymore. Wait. Symbols. We did see some symbols that look similar to those. when Liliha was telling the story of the sage. And both of them going towards the glowing mushroom. I don't know if my analysis of the opening even helped anything, but we got it done. And she has to take a piss, of course. Yeah, please don't let him hear it. It couldn't have been 30 days going down. You wouldn't hold in your biological needs for 30 days. And a rainbow. Yeah, glad he was secured. Glad he was secured. And apparently they can use the tree being empty to descend. Which I guess makes sense. Yeah, it's hollow. No wonder we're experiencing water shortages. The tree is dying. It's rotting from the inside. That's why it's hollow, probably. Bugs everywhere? Well, that's good, because we have a source of food everywhere. But the fact that she mentions, you see them in the snow, see the canopy around spirit trees everywhere, the bugs are significant somehow. Not just because they're fixing the trees, somehow else. Okay, bear with me. It's gonna be completely pulled out of the ass. Aliens came to Earth, planted trees to suck up the life force from Earth, and the bugs are the servants of the aliens. Probably not. Probably not. But on the off chance, I'm just gonna get it out there. Aliens planted the trees, bugs serve them. I wonder. Bugs repair the canopy and orbital trees. Yep. People and bugs are in the same boat. Yeah, very much so. I'll talk to father about that. Maybe then he'll what? He'll what? What was she trying to say? Maybe he'll figure out a way to send you back to your village. Maybe he'll figure out a way to get your elders down here. Maybe he'll figure out a way to save the trees. Maybe he'll help us save the trees. I don't know. Let's keep moving. And she's blushing, but she's happy. That's what matters. And I was wondering if it's just a cave that they descend in, and if so, how can they know there's gonna be an out somewhere? But no, it's a crack in the tree they're descending. They're descending through. I guess it makes sense. Trees are full of veins that go up and carry nutrients and water from the roots up into the canopy. I'm guessing they are right now inside one of such veins. Of course, the tree is on like planetary scale, so the vein would be big enough for humans to fit in. Amelothea. Amelothea? Amelothea. I don't know. Amelothea. How does it sound? Amelothe. Amelothe. Okay, Amelothe. I guess that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Amelothe. Gotcha. Although, does that E with an accent read E with an accent and followed by E read as I don't know, maybe. Great ring. The fuck is a great ring? Clouds? Surface of clouds? No, they're below the clouds. So that can be the great ring. It's getting warm. Okay, so it's warmer down below than it is up in the canopy. And they're out on the roots, on the root flare. That's great. We did it! We did it. You can actually see the snow sea from here. And people, so they are low enough. Valgia, 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 and Valgians. Valgia, 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 Valgia. Okay, I think I get it now. There aren't any rivets or anything on their suits of armor, so they are probably made of bug kitten. And helmets are just made of bug heads. Interesting that again we have some asymmetry. Left arm different from the right arm. Right arm is less armored. Left arm is more armored. Right arm is less armored because when you have a weapon in your right arm, usual dominant arm, you can protect your right side of the body with the weapon. Left side needs a little more protection because you don't carry a weapon in there. Maybe a shield, but they don't carry shields, so they can parry or block strikes with just their arm alone. Armor design makes sense. Why did they make their way up here so quickly doesn't, but I'm just gonna suspend my disbelief a little. He's wearing clothing I've never seen before. Interesting that they just want to capture them, not kill. Perhaps to be able to extort the people of this country. If you surrender and give us your water, we're gonna free your princess? Probably. Killing that princess wouldn't really achieve anything, would it? It would just make the people, Atland people, angry. Atland and Valgia. Will be disobeying orders. This is cool. Guns. They have guns. Acorn guns. Made of wood. And I'm assuming animal sinew, probably. Same material as Liliha's sword, at least the red part, so probably some sort of a red wood. Maybe the barnacles. The barnacles were red. People would kill other people. Yeah, that's an impossible concept for Kaina to understand. I mean, he's been living with just a sparse few people up in the canopy. When there are so few people around, why would you kill anybody? Everybody's precious. Everybody has a role. Why would I kill Johnny? Johnny makes food for us. Who would make food if Johnny were dead? Why would I kill Anna? Anna makes clothes for us. We'd be screwed if not for Anna, right? It makes sense for a person living in such a small commune to have the concept of killing someone be completely alien to him. It makes sense not to Liliha. Liliha lives in a world where there's thousands of people. So the death of one or two or three or a dozen of them doesn't have that much of an impact in the grand scheme of things. Those are some interesting ships. I love that they have those weird like stabilizers. They're kind of like a double catamaran kind of deal. Except there aren't any like crosswise. There is the beam going crosswise, but there aren't any floaters on the ends of that beam, unless they are down below and it kind of works like a hydroplane. Could be. What propels them though? I don't see any. Whatchamacallit. Fuck. Any sails? I don't see any sails. Engine? If so, what powers it? People. Could be people. Like Roman galleys? Possibly. Acorn guns are apparently very powerful. And they use some sort of powder. Are they non-lethal? Maybe. Valgians have bows and arrows, though. Much faster to use than guns. At least guns this primitive. I'm assuming you have to recharge it like a flintlock gun. Essentially, they don't seem to have any clips, any magazines. Kaina got a sword. Did he drop it? No, it's an arrow. Okay, so he keeps the sword. I love their left arms. They look like dog trainers have this like padded arm guard to train dogs for the police, or right? It has this sort of a look, and I really do like this look of the left arm being so significantly bulkier than the right arm. And we can use the floater to float, hopefully down, hopefully not back to the canopy. Would kind of suck if they floated straight back to the canopy. We'll float as long as we have this. Right? Yeah, apparently, but what is this? I was really hoping we're gonna learn what this is, but I guess it's left for the next episode. And they jumped into the pit. There's that song about not DashCon, TumblerCon, whatever it was called. Jump in the pit. Yeah, this one. This one. Oh yeah. Can I play it? I don't think there should be any problem with it. Oh, you're gonna need probably window capture or something. No, reject all. I don't... Yeah, that's what I meant, exactly. So, window capture. Jump in the pit. There we go. Can I make it like bigger? That should suffice. And probably sound would be cool. Audio output. Sure, from... I don't fucking know, default? Maybe. Is that gonna work? Jump in the pit. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. Jump in the pit. It's called 3 years ago. Here's the URL, and you can watch internet historians' coverage of DashCon. So it is DashCon. It's a great watch. Highly recommend. Okay, so window capture, turn it off. Audio capture, just delete it. I don't need it anymore. How do you delete things? Remove. Okay, cool. I didn't remove my my own mic. And the ending. And the ending. We see, that's interesting, there aren't all that many orbital trees in the world, it seems. Like one tree falling and taking the entire membrane with it would be like half a continent of coverage, which can be catastrophic. And probably is catastrophic. Although nobody seemed particularly worried about that one tree falling, so I'm not sure. Valgia, and there's these people. They don't look like Atlanteans, they don't look like Valgians. Some third country, third nation, I don't know. Oh boy. I love this series so much. It's the amount of world building, the amount of questions, the amount of like this is 3 episodes of Kaina. That's 3 episodes. This is Symphogear AXZ. Entire season. This is Gundam Witch from Mercury. This is Madoka Magica, comparatively not much. Yofkash no Uta, Ruby, Review Starlight. Again, not particularly much either. And this is just 3 episodes, and I already got like very small letters and very densely packed, almost an entire page in my notebook. I don't know how else I can express my love for this series, for the world building, for the storytelling. It has me constantly engaged. It has me constantly on edge. It has me constantly questioning, constantly looking into things. Like, very often I catch myself thinking about what a given thing is, wondering, seeking questions, seeking answers, rather, seeking answers to questions. And then I catch myself thinking, maybe I'm looking too deep into it. Maybe I'm like reaching a little too far. There hasn't been anything that would make me possibly think that way. But this show strikes that perfect balance where I can create like super far-reaching theories, like aliens planting the trees, or the entire sea being made of crude oil or methane or something. And it doesn't seem far-fetched. It doesn't seem like I'm reaching. It still seems plausible. It gives me just enough hints and tidbits to keep me thinking, keep me engaged, keep me wondering. But it still hides all the answers in this sort of a perfect way where I know there is an answer. There has to be, because there are too many coincidences, there are too many hints being shown for there to not be a final answer to those questions. But I don't see it. And I'm seeking it, and I'm reaching for it, and I'm trying to find it. It's great. It's I don't know how else to put it into words. It keeps me so incredibly engaged. I guess that's the best way to put it. It's engaging. It's so incredibly engaging. There are shows that also have great world building, but every question is either answered immediately, or we don't have enough hints to even start wondering about what's going on, or the answers are found too easily. Right? That's usually there's usually something of balance there, where you either find the answer before the actual answer is given because you were given enough hints to figure it out, or you're not given enough hints to figure anything out, or you're not even given enough hints to figure out that there is something to be figured out. And then they just blindside you with an answer to a question you didn't even know existed. This show has the perfect balance. Gives me just enough hints and questions to keep me seeking answers, but not enough to find them. It's constant mental edging. And I love it. And I love it. Oh boy. I got excited. I got a little winded. And then there's the robot. Then there's the sage. Like, what? It's not just our current civilization that died out, or even like a civilization of 2030 where you might have like handheld laser cutters that somehow don't need charging and don't need spare batteries. There's also giant mecha robots. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. It's an anime that has me research the average density of human body and liquids that are less dense than it. There aren't many like this. There really aren't many like this. yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I don't think I have anything more to say. Maybe again, I will think things over, read your comments, read some discussions about this episode, and then come to episode 4 with some newfound theories and knowledge and stuff like that when I sleep through this. No, like sleep on it. Sleep on it. That's the proper term. But right now, I think that's it from me. But maybe you guys, maybe you have something more to say. If so, do say so in the comments down below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please. I know episode 4 is already out. I'm gonna be watching it soon-ish, as soon as the time allows. But don't spoil it, what's happening in episode 4. If you do want to talk spoilers, there is Discord here, also linked in the description. There's an invite, you can click it, join the Discord, and talk spoilers to your heart's content in Ooyukiumi no Kaina channel. Using spoiler tags. I'm not gonna read them, and you'll be able to talk with other fellow people who are also a little bit ahead in the story, ahead of me, that is. Or just come and hang out. That's also a purpose of this server, of course. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Ooyukiumi no Kaina, but also Benriya, Saitou-san, Isekai ni Iku, also Symphogear AXZ OVA should be coming out tomorrow or today, depending on your time zone. Then next week there's gonna be a concert, and then we're gonna start the next season, of course. Madoka Magica Rebellion, I will watch it one day, I promise. And also another show will be taking place of Gundam on Sundays. So look forward to what that is going to be. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, for example, or Throne, both linked in the description below. On Patreon for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows, and for just $1 you get a role on the Discord, a place in the credits, and sometimes, very rarely but still, I release seasonal shows a little bit early on that tier as well. On Throne, you can pitch in directly towards my purchase of better gear, better software, stuff like that, and if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel an awful lot. And so, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. And as always, you guys do the good stuff. And I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons. And you can be one of them, and you don't need to rappel down a tree to do that.